And here she goes. With the right media group. I am Fantastic Me, and with me is my good man Ega Easter. Happy Monday. But guys, we are here for a best of 4 series essentially, and it's the first map, of course, is going to be Ilios. It is a best. You get a control map, 3 maps, get 2 out of 3, you take the win. I like Ilios, and I've said it every single time. I bet everyone's tired of hearing of it, but I love Ilios as control maps go because 2 out of the 3, the lighthouse and the well, both have great opportunities for environment. Sweet spot, Guzzy. There's a sweet spot. If you can get to 85% territory, where if you're
You
able
can
to win the next engagement, is it 85? Do you remember what that beautiful magic number is?
honestly, it really does end up being somewhere in the 80s is usually where the final team fight is decided. The opening team fight, though, to kind of elaborate on what you had already touched on, the opening team fight is so critical here because a good team doesn't have to continue winning team fights over and over and over. They will win one, and they'll hold it for a while.
And that's just how it's going to roll. Guys, again, top left in your blue is Team Chivalrous. Top right in your red is Team Rage. Chivalrous, of course, being blue, you think the Blue Knights. Rage, of course, you think the color red. So these teams are on the proper sides. First one we have is the Lighthouse. Again, we're looking at those environmentals. So I'm happy to see Lucio and Iroh, but I don't see the boot potential over there. And Chivalrous, we'll see, because they'll be looking to play a little bit different than it looks like the other side. I'm finally not getting the mirror matchup, but here we go. They're coming forward, and I've seen teams do this quite often where they won't actually go to fight on the point because it doesn't unlock for another 22 seconds. They don't need to have that happen right now. And it looks like they're both going for the Maywall comes out on the side of Team Rage, not really going forward. It looks like they're deciding whether or not they want to fight inside underneath. They need to figure out where they want to engage because they're a little bit split up. I like the way the Chivalrous is staying back behind the Reinhardt. The Maywall comes out, does solidify just the May, but having to use that May ice block to keep her alive. Going forward, they're just slowly pushing forward. We got the merry-go-round, the slam, great scoop and poop allow. Kongman first blood onto Lama Rama. That's a double kill, beautiful. He does get taken out by J-Terror, but it does look like a Team Rage is up one extra person. They are up in this team fight until Lama Rama is brought back up thanks to Gordo. The res is still very powerful, guys. Now on the point right now is Team Rage, and they are walling them off, so they're going to get those first few percentage points. But the engagement is still going on as Morphwing is taken down by Crisis. Aaron Boy does get hit out of mech, and they're going to start pushing forward to get all these staggers. First team fight goes to Team Rage.
That was actually an impressive show of patience from Team Rage. That was what ultimately decided that, was that they were the first team to get each other's back. You could tell that once somebody on that team started yelling, started talking about comms, started trying to bring everybody back together, and it paid off.
Did, and they're going to they regroup, they come back. Now we do have the ults more online on the Team Rage, but Chivalrous is going to push forward. The May wall comes off, only blocks off the Mercy, who does pop the Valkyrie. May ult from Aether is eaten by Aaron Boy. Great eating of the Diva, of the ult from A. We have the Die coming up, does find Iroh, double kill right after that onto Aether, and does look like right now Chivalrous is up 3 members as Morphwing does knock Crisis right off the edge. Zachary also getting a kill onto Arctic, and it does look like the stagger is going to be quite possible, but this team fight does go over to the side of Chivalrous after 52% goes to Team Rage.
The interesting thing going into this next team fight is that we're going to have a Diva on the side of Chivalrous, and we're going to have 3 ults. We're going to have a Lucio, a Diva Bomb, as well as the Reaper Death Blossom coming into this next fight.
The bomb comes in, looking for someone. The May wall does save a lot of them. The spook does find 2. Oh. Double kill for Kong, man. We got the Diva and the May going off the deep end, wow. And that's going to be a team rollout. That goes to Team Rage. Going to continue after that 52%. Great scoop, great poop off the edge of this beautiful map that is Lighthouse.
And fantastic ult management from the team. Not get overzealous and feel like they need to blow ults to take advantage of the opportunity. They knew what they had in front of them. They turned a winnable situation into a dominant take as they enter this second fight here, just outside the point.
Shatter does not find it anyway. Nerf this gets put on just in the corner. Not going to happen. Got the Lucio ult coming aside from Rage. Die comes out. Maywall ult comes out. Does freeze the Diva. Gordo and Morphwing both take long trips off short cliffs. And it's Team Rage winning this engagement again against Chivalrous. 86%. That's that sweet spot. Can Chivalrous get the touch?
This is going to be a very quick push in from Team Rage if they want to have any shot of this. It's going to be difficult for them to make it to the point to begin with.
Now Gordo was trying to basically do a Lucio speed boost onto it, but Crisis said no sir, not going to happen. First map of Ilios going over to Team Rage.
That was actually some impressive team fighting. Now the interesting thing about that was that Team Rage, I spoke to the captain of Team Rage prior to tonight's game, and the captain of Rage told me that they have been working specifically on exclusively PTR, playing PTR exclusively as a team to prepare for this 2-2-2 roll lock. They said GOATS is a lot of fun to play, but they still like 2-2-2 more, and they're very excited about the future of the meta. So they've been waiting for this actually, and it shows.
Them, trust me. I'm sure at least 90+% of the Overwatch community is looking forward to, especially what we're seeing in the Owls. We got longer games, more competitiveness. We love to see what's happening. So I'll continue to basically
That's um that's actually a pretty solid push from them. They did get the boop, which obviously, again, we were talking about that environmental factor makes all the difference in these team fights. And a triple kill from a barrage from Farah actually to open up this next team fight.
Great team fight, and Iron Boy does pull it in Crisis, and I know there is a pause. It's all right, no worries. Arctic getting his own double kill thanks to his beautiful turret. Triple kill on J Terror as well. And after just 28% goes to from Chivalrous, it now goes over to Team Rage. Let's see what they can do for this hold. Got some fun going on with production. Some fun. I'm just going to keep going like it doesn't even matter, because it doesn't, because we're having fun with Overwatch. The pull comes in, again gets the hog, goes to the well. Triple move from Gordo from behind. Gonna be up right then. Beautiful flank, beautiful boop. Way to go, Lucio. You've made my heart a flutter. Thank you so much. Aether does find J Terror, but it doesn't matter. He's back 30% and counting over the side of Chivalrous.
This has been an absolutely fantastic show of environmental awareness for Gordo as Lucio. He has gotten several boops, not only on this map, but on the last one.
Last several hook again. This has happened every single engagement where the hook does find the. This time it's not the hook that makes him go in the well. It's the boot from Myro right after that. We got Molten Core coming out from Arctic. Does get the bongos on the side of Aaron. Justice is raiding from above, trying to flank. Does find one on the Llama Rama, and this Crisis and Arctic finding picks of their own. And it does look like it's going to be going over once again, back and forth. Every single team fight's been going back and forth. It was on Chivalrous, and now it's back over to Team Rage.
Yeah, and we do have a couple ults coming into this next fight. I will be interested to see how they manage them, particularly considering, although they don't know this, that Chivalrous is at a significant ult disadvantage here.
Mm-hmm. And it's basically the defenders have the best use or the best position for defending these control maps, and because the attackers have to go get them, they have to go onto the point, they have to at least dislodge them. I actually love the positioning here from Mercy up on this high ground. She is very much out of harm's way and able to actually reach her team members down below. The pull comes in looking for the hook, not able to find one from the side of Chivalrous. The hook comes out of the die, flank, die, does find Rusty Potato and both the turret and the bongo on the side of Rage. Arctic able to shut him down, however, but it is 1-1, 5v5 until Zachary finds Aether up in the air. The boop, another beautiful boop from Iroh on Aaron Boy, but it's kind of evened up because both wrists have are off the field right now, but it is still ticking in the favor of Team Rage. Llama Rama able to get a kill on the Iroh, but Crisis does punch Gordo in the face. Whole Hog does push them off the point, and again, it's been going back and forth, and it is just the Hog there. Does switch over after 85% Team Rage, now 67% and counting for Chivalrous.
And we're at that point. We're at that sweet spot where this next team fight is going to be very valuable. If Team Rage takes this next team fight, they will likely be able to take the entire round.
We'll get Ilios. They'll get that first point. They'll start off this series full map ahead. And a Fair Mercy up in the air doesn't have too much to kind of deal with. The McCree is getting hit by the beautiful rocket. So Aether does take out their only real threat of Zachary, and he's going to be flying right above their head. Lucio almost getting hit is not going to happen, but Iron Boy does find Justice raining again. Triple kill over on Aether's side. Llama Rama, Aaron Boy, and Morphwing not going to be enough. It is an overtime 99% on Chivalrous, but it is right now the team fight has gone over to Team Rage, 86% and counting. They're going to have to go on to some really speedy heroes if they need to touch, because they need to touch. Otherwise, this Ilios map is going over to the side of Team Rage.
This could not be a more competitive round. This is going right to the wire. All the obstacles, all the ults are coming out.
Boots, and it's Team Rage just starting to clean them up. Now, Lucio was there to at least get it into overtime. Die was not there as Aether saw it happening, and the flank did not work this time. Still in overtime, and it's just the Arista. They're going to push forward onto her, booper into oblivion. Now it does look like Gordo is back. Does find one. Does get Kong Man. Just the one, but then Arctic finishes him off, and that's Ilios. Two maps to 0 on this control map. Team Rage takes the first point.
That was actually them proving what they set out to prove. They said prior to the game that they have a great coach that has been specifically helping them in the transition, that they're very confident in this new meta, and it's showing. They're playing extremely well. I have seen a lot of really good plays on both sides. Particularly, I've been impressed with Iroh and Gordo, both those shows on both teams.
They did a fantastic job. I do feel like we saw better hook pulls on the side of Chivalrous, but it wasn't enough to get to that win against Team Rage. Team Rage, of course, leading the series 0-1 in favor of them. Guys, we're going to take a short little break. We'll be right back after these messages to go into map number 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. Beautiful map 1. And guys, I want to first pause real. Appreciate you guys being with us as we work through a couple audio issues, and everything's happy now. We're all good. We're all ready for some more great gameplay. I mean, I am. How about you, T Guysy?
I am very excited to see what these two guys come out with. Pre-game, I definitely got bring responses from each team. They both have very different mentalities, very different preparation, and very different opinions about the 222 roll lock coming into tonight's game. But they are competitive through and through nonetheless.
Mentioning Iroh on Team Rage was very much in favor of it, and he's been training his team to go with it. So you're saying Chivalrous is more not so much looking forward to it? Because I do see arguments on both sides. I remember seeing several higher level players, definitely if they're on, say, slow healers and they're trying to stall, they'll get off the healer to go to like a Doomfist or a Tracer or just somebody that can stall better, and you can't do that with the 222 lock.
Yeah, and that is something that I spoke with Morphwing, the captain of Chivalrous, and they actually just recently got a new coach this week, and they've been in a very high pressure week, dealing with the coach change, the roll lock, trying preparations for this game against Team Rage. They are optimistic throughout, and certainly do look like they are fully capable of winning the game and pulling it back. We're just gonna have to see how they adjust coming into this next map. We're going up to space.
I mean, Team Rage did take Elio, so they are currently leading the series 0-1 against Chivalrous. Again, I say that because Chivalrous is going to be on your left and your blue, and Rage is, of course, on your right and your red. So we're looking at that. And what really popped in my mind, it wasn't just that the well kept on going back and forth. Every team fight had changed hands on who was actually in control. I loved that what I was talking about, we were talking about, the environmental kills happened and they came through on every map. We saw a great boop from Hamster onto the side on the lighthouse. Great hit off. That was a double kill. We saw the triple kill from Gordo when he flanked around as Lucio, knocking them all into the well. I was so hyped, so happy, and you can't see that on Horizon Lunar Colony very much because nobody goes out into the depths of space. But speaking of Horizon Lunar Colony, that's up next. What do you like about that map, T-Guzzy?
Well, I would like if I could get some more space boops, but other than that, I really do like the diversity that the map tends to bring out. Other than the tanks I do oftentimes see of the same combinations, and that's going to be like that a little while, especially as people get more familiar with everything. But map itself allows for a lot of angling, a lot of unique DPS focused playmaking ability.
It
I
does, and
absolutely love it about that.
come down to how both teams are going to transition to where the attackers, how are they going to move forward. I really can't imagine, unless they go dive on attack, you're going to need that Lucio to help your tanks get in position to get to the point, because there's free reign from the defensive side onto the attackers when they're coming in. And if I wouldn't expect not to see a bunker, would not expect to see Ryan and Zarya take a bench almost the entire time until maybe we get to the end on the point 2. But point 1, I almost always think of Orisa Hog in a bunker, because that's what I run into, at least at my elo. What is your experience?
I run into a lot of the same. You start seeing the guys that you don't see quite as commonly, the Baptistes, the Bastions, the bunker comps that are so rarely used other than in these maps like this where you have such long sight lines where people can just get torn up on the way to the point. It is a vicious map for attackers sometimes if you are not well coordinated.
Did have those great changes that came out on this map, because it came out and there was some contention, or maybe just enough people complained and something changes. Cough, Paris, let it happen. So we got some changes that came out. We got the cover that's up on the high ground. They got rid of the lower far left from attacker's side. There used to be a way where that mini is to come back out underneath where the stairs are, and it's no longer there. So we got here coming up from our first one's up on the defense. Who we have Chivalrous again, top left in your blue. Team Rage, top right in your red. T Guzzy, tell me what you think about this defense coming out from Chivalrous.
I actually think that this is the right comp to be running for point A. Their Orisa has been doing quite well, and I do believe in the abilities of Gordo. He was a fantastic Lucio. If he can have 3/4 of the success that he had as Lucio, being Bash or Baptiste this time, uh, Chivalrous will be having a good time.
I think they went. Why do you think Dasher went on the diva instead of what you usually see paired with the Orisa, which is the Roadhog?
I would be curious to know his motivations behind that. I would also be curious to know why the Junkrat DPS choice. I think that's an interesting choice for this point here. Usually Bastion can output enough damage, so
I mean, Junkrat's gonna have plenty to shoot down right down this very narrow stairway, because they are moving up to the right side. They don't have a shield tank. They're going with the Hog and Ball, and the Ball is gonna be taken out by J Terror, and then evened up as Gordo is taken out by Crisis. So it's now be 5v5. Actually, let me make that 5v4 as Arctic does find J Terror as they're trying to push up, and they did get all the way up the stairs. They're just
Gordo's
still
back.
getting taken down, and they got a few people going out into space as they're trying to come back to join the rest of their team. Just no shield, getting pulled back behind their shields. Dasher dives forward to keep pushing the back, keep pushing the back. Hook comes in on a Dasher, is going to be hit out of mech, and the fight is actually going very, very slowly compared to what you would normally expect. They're actually getting more and more momentum. They move to fight onto the point. Orisa has her Morphwing is trying to do what he can to stall as best as he can, but Aether's going to get that double kill from that Genji on a Lamarama and Morphwing. Arctic finds the pick of his own. Looks like point 1 is going to go the way of Team Rage.
This was a case of the bunker falling apart very, very slowly. Now they did hold out for quite a while up there, even when they had the man disadvantage. But at the end of the day, they just did not have the firepower and they didn't have the healing to keep themselves up. That was a successful dive,
That was very successful. Jade Terror is
albeit
going to be
one
switching off
without a
onto
diva.
they still have the diva because that diva bomb definitely, but J Terror and Gordo making switches of their own because they realize it is dive. They see the two flankers, so I'd like to pick the Brigitte. J Terror going to be up there basically trying to snipe away. And poor Conga Man. Let's see if Conga Man can survive all the death. Does just barely get out, trying to get around the corner, gets the
Ooh.
mini health back. It's chased down and then
Oh
sniped out by J
no.
Terror. Great. Almost getting away from that Kong Man. Aether's actually gonna be able to take J Terror out though. So right now it's even 5v5. You got the blade coming out on the side of Aether, able to get somebody Glamarama right away. That's one kill. That's enough. Double kill Gordo. Both healers taken out by that Genji player. That's what we like to see. And it's just
Whew.
Zachary up there who is going to be going into tank mode. Diva Bomb coming out as well, trying to clear the field. Not going to find anyone, but Arrow does use the Lucio ult to keep everyone alive as best he can. But it is just all Team Rage here as Dasher is on the point, getting hit out of mech. Great Ana grenade that has come out from Llama, who has respawned, but it's not going to be enough as they are getting 1-2 Tick, 41.6%, and counting. Here we got Bongos coming out from Northweek. We got the Mines coming out that's just going to start eating away at all the people trying to come out from the left side. But we got J-Terror getting a double kill. Dasher finding a pick of zone on the Crisis. They might be able to hold this pretty darn well. We got Sombra in the background, but that's going to be that's a great defense coming out here from Chivalrous. They hold it back after 41.6% going to Team Rage.
That was actually a surprise. That was a lot of determination for them. If this was a solo queue competitive game, the team might have given up by now. So this is actually a really good indication of their morale. They're still holding strong. They are still talking. They're still trying.
They're still here. We got there's nobody really to combo with that pool of Morphwing, but it does see someone up there. Kongman coming up from the back, trying to get some momentum, and Orisa's just bodying him, not let him get the momentum he needs to start that booping power. He does need to be able to hook and get some rolling speed to get up there. He's having trouble trying to get back up to Zachary. He was able to take down Crisis. J-Terror with the headshots onto Iroh and Arctic, and that's going to be another hold over here for the side of Chivalrous.
Now, this might be nitpicking, but in my personal opinion, I believe that the use of two alts in that fight was completely unnecessary. The X-ray from Widow is, as everybody knows, very important, but the rally from Brigitte was not necessary. Yep.
The background becoming forward, does get the EMP, got 3, and that's both the healers. Diva Bomb comes up on top, gets the kill, gets on Conga Man, able to do it, and it's 3 down. Team Rage already down 3, and actually going ahead and using that blade does find 1 kill, double kill again. Both 2 team fights, 2 kills from both healers from Aether. Great job, great Genji, but Dasher does finish him off, and it is looking like they're able to hold pretty darn strong. It's not going to be any more ticks for the side of Team Rage. Even just because of that beautiful ult that came out from Sombra, but it's still a great hold so far from Chivalrous.
And I believe that the team comp of Team Rage does need to have some kind of an adjustment. They either need to be more coordinated in using their ults, or they need to be switching their tanks up entirely.
Speaking of switching, there they are. They switched on the Diva and the Monkey. They dived in. They got anti-grenaded almost right away, though. They are super low. We got a D-Mech onto Crisis. Dasher able to take down Eero. Zachary able to take down the mini Diva of Crisis. The Orb finds Rusty Potato. Dasher getting his own double kill in this engagement. And again, Chivalrous is able to react. Despite what a great engagement that came out from Team Rage, they're still holding strong. Only a minute 40 left for Team Rage to get more point B.
The interesting thing is how disjointed Team Rage is looking right now, as opposed to how they were on the first point. They're definitely moving in a much more disjointed fashion, and they're getting cut down very, very quickly.
The main thing I'm looking for is basically Arctic. If he can get that great hack either onto the Orisa, so no more shields, or onto the Bastion, so he can't be in turret form, that's what is basically going to be open up. But they're still going forward. And I like what they're doing. I like what Team Rage is doing. They're going. They have the least line of sight onto Zachary. EMP does find all signs 4, and they need to engage on this. They don't have too much longer. Sleep onto Arctic. Great job. Conga Man almost taken out. Going to go using his Primal Rage. Tank coming out as well. Lucio all coming out from Iroh. Team Rage is basically putting everything they can in here, and Nano is almost on deck. Zachary finds Rusty Potato before it can be used, though. A Diva all comes out. J-Terror finds the pick. Dasher finds the Diva bomb kill onto Conga Man. Double kill from J-Terror again, getting Crisis before he can get back into Mech and Gordo. And Zachary finding picks of their own. They did get just a few more percentage points, 46.8, but it's still 30 seconds left for Team Rage to get point 2.
This is fantastic defense from Chivalrous right now. The Bastion is just not being countered. The EMP is landing. I would say that Sombra is doing a good job of both building and using the EMP properly, but they are just not getting the picks that they need.
And EMP found 4, and then it took a good while for the tanks to push forward. Here comes out the blade. Here, looking for someone. Kongman is asleep. Aether's trying to find the kills in the background. He does find Lama Rama again. Conga Man and Crisis finding pictures of their own. There's 3 down. J-Terror is trying to even it up, but Crisis takes down another one. It is going in favor of Team Rage this last encounter, this last fight, but it is spawn advantage. So goes the defenders, and they did a great job coming back from the brink of defeat last time, going to just getting point tick number 2. J-Terror being nano boosted as a Widow, staying alive for how long? Tanks, it's a Widow. She's Widow 76 right now, punches Aether in the face, getting that kill. Diva Bomb not able to find one. Morphwing. Chivalrous is bringing this defense back. Arctic does get Zachary before he's able to do more, but Gordo is able to take down, and it's going to be hit. They are off point. They are off point. Chivalrous able to hold.
The point.
From Chivalrous was amazing.
That was incredible defense. They got back there so quickly, and they held out on the point. The Widow holding the nano boosted Widow, jumping around in the middle of the point. She lived
Widow
for
76,
so long,
man. Now, granted, she was nano boosted, okay, half damage, but still,
just straight punching people, doing anything he needed to. That was fantastic.
Defeat defenses around for coming out from Chivalrous. And essentially what this means to me whenever I see this is when there's not a full cap on the 0.2 on this assault map, they got 66.8% team rage did. And what I say, and we try to think positive, is, hey guys, at least it's not going to be a tie, because one of these teams is going to take this one. We're not going to go to a second round of both teams attacking and defending, because if they can get 66.9%, Chivalrous can get that on attack, they will take this map. They'll even up the series. If we can have a just on from the side of Team Rage, from Chivalrous attacks, they're going to take map too. But what do we got coming out from defense here for Team Rage? What are they thinking?
Well, right now it is actually looking kind of like a bunker light, honestly, with the Mei that has been seeing so much use since the Rolock started being introduced. I guess, can we call Mei full meta now? Can we call Mei an actual, a meta hero at this point?
Oh, you did that? I like it. I'm absolutely fine with that. But I'm going to look for walls from their side, but there's not too much they can push out, unless you can underestimate Mei, because she can get 75 damage per icicle and there's no fall up. Arctic can open this up, double kill on the Llama into Zachary. Llama is taking back up, but it is still 5v6 from Chivalrous onto Team Rage, so Team Rage is up one member. But so they should wait. They might be just farm lots, but Arctic able to get picked off by Llama Rama, who is then going to be rezzed right away. So again, Team Rage still at full strength. And Dasher is hit out of the mech. It's Rusty Potato able to take down the ball, and Dasher is being taken out, and it's going to be Team Rage able to hold strong in this first engagement coming out from Chivalrous.
And the thing that stood out to me more than anything was how quickly the team started to split apart. Chivalrous started to split apart as soon as the going got tough, and people kind of started going their own way. If the communication ties up, they have shown the ability to win these fights.
Like Zachary did lose that Widow duel between Arctic. They had switched off to try and say, hey, I can Widow too. I was popping your heads off on there on defense for quite a while. But Arctic did take that first duel. Llama Rama is going to be taken down as well from that headshot from Arctic. So again, they are up 6v5 and 6v4 as Zachary's taken out by an icicle from Aether. They are going to go ahead and try and make them get out of position, possibly by putting onto the point. Slowly ticking forward. If they can stop. Great minefield. They need to get on the point. There's already one tick. Arctic is fighting from above. They're just going to walk forward. They already get... They got up the Mei ult. They got the Mei up on the point, and they had already lost that fight. They were full fighting force, and they used the bongos. They used all the ults, and they still gave up a tick to Chivalrous.
That to me just felt like something where they didn't have a good read on where the fight was going. It seemed like they were sitting in a perpetual limbo where they thought that they could win, they might lose, they gotta pull it out now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very interesting, because I didn't think it was that.
From Chivalrous. Like, Chivalrous definitely got the upper end of that one.
I've also been very impressed.
The hook pull does find Zachary, who'd switched off from the Widow onto a more break on the form of Hanzo. Does get that great combo on the side from, so great working together, Kongman and Crisis. They're gonna wait for that respawn, and they're gonna see what they're gonna do, because they have a similar dive comp that Rage was using before. They have the two tanks that are very mobile to get up on their top, and then they have raining death from above from Zachary. Aether's able to get the pick onto Llama Rama. They can't seem to get... EMP comes out, gets all six! All six are taken, are all EMP'd. They need to move forward. Crisis does take down Jade Terror, but Zachary was able to get Arctic, so right now it's 5v5. They need to push forward. They need to get up there. there. They need to get some people up there besides to help out poor Morphwing, who was just taken and eaten alive by Team Rage. They're trying to get on the point, maybe just trying to get them out of position. Only a minute left. Chivalrous needs to take point one, but they keep getting picked off.
And
not enough for Chivalrous. They're getting chased down right now. They're only gonna have one really good push right now. They get Transcendence is being used. They were still one good team fight. Nerf this right on the side of the shield. It's not gonna be enough. Does find Iroh, who is up in the air. Conga Man and Crisis all getting picks of their own. Conga Man is right now hacked, although he is now also nano boosted. Less than 30 seconds. All the ults being used when there was still one good team fight and regrouping that Chivalrous had.
This is a phenomenal opportunity for Rage to put an end to this right now. They do have the ult advantage. They have shown the ability to get these picks, and now we see how Chivalrous will attack.
They're able to get that easy, that first pick on to Tracer. May ult being used on the point. Does find a frozen ball and a frozen Gordo. Does look like Team Rage is up right now at 6v4. As the team fight, Rusty Potato comes out. It is the ball trying to play merry-go-round. Morphwing is going to be taken out as well. Not going to be happening today for Chivalrous, despite an amazing defense on point two. Chivalrous just didn't have the attacking power to break through Team Rage. Team Rage is going to take Horizon Lutheran Colony, leading the series 2-0 against Chivalrous.
That, again, was a matter of them being the more prepared team. They're playing with 2-2-2 a lot more. They have had a chance this week to actually prepare a little more to their regular schedule than Chivalrous has. Given the circumstances of Chivalrous leading up into this game, once again, they got a new coach only yesterday. It has been a very difficult week for them with the roll-out of the coach change and trying to fit in preparations. But at the end of the day, they are still down 2-0. They've been playing their best. They've been trying.
Yeah. Like I said, their defense was, I think, even though as good as defense as Team Rage was doing, I think they used some ults when they really didn't need to. They had already won the fight several times. So I think despite the Team Rage had a really good defense, Chivalrous had an amazing defense on point two, but they weren't able to get this win, unfortunately. But 0 right now, Team Rage at 2. Great teams going back and forth, guys. We're in halftime. We're gonna give Chivalrous a few minutes. You okay? You okay? Give him a few minutes, Guzzy. You think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody needs a couple minutes to regroup and get some coffee.
Here, man. Have some coffee, man. You got this. You got this. We're good, guys. We're gonna take a short break here for halftime. We'll be right back. We're gonna see if Chivalrous can do the reverse sweep because I love seeing it. I hope you love seeing it too. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Again, I'm Swiftastic Me, and with me, of course, is T Guzzy. How you doing, sir?
I am doing well, ready to get things moving. On to Eichenwald, the
We're
next
on
map,
the
huh?
map 3. Lovely map 3.
How
Eichenwald,
do you
actually
feel
one of
about
my
Eichenwald?
absolute favorite maps for me.
Oh,
Is a hybrid map, guys. Hybrid. It's called hybrid, but they call it assault/escort. Essentially, you have to capture a point load that you then push the payload through 2 extra points to finish off the map. And again, if you're able, both teams are able to get to the end, you swap it with whatever time's left, and you do it. But I like castles. So castles are kind of. I mean, if I there's a castle like an hour down the road, I would go down there to just walk through it because I feel like I can find a secret hidden
you
pathway,
think you can
but
find
it's
like a
not.
cool corridor that goes through the entire castle?
It's like, is this the king's room? Okay. And I'm gonna rolling perception checks trying to find the hidden mechanisms. But we got Team Rage right now leading the series against Chivalrous, despite Chivalrous's fantastic defense on point 2. They were struggling to find the attack combination that was able to get through Team Rage on point 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think, coming from your point of view, because my point of view is just where all the action is, what do you think Chivalrous could have done differently on attack to at least get point 1?
I absolutely believe that Chivalrous is capable of winning these fights if they have the correct coordination going into the fight. They have a tendency, due to the fact that they do have a new coach, they have some new players, they do like to work with their subs. They have a lot of moving parts in this organization right now, and it's a very young team. And right now, they're just showing some of the downsides of being a young, energetic team. You can feel their passion. You can feel that they're trying. You can feel that they want it so badly.
You do.
But there's just small details that they need to shore up. If they could reverse sweep this. This is very much within the realm of a massive comeback and something really exciting to keep us here all night.
I mean, I haven't seen Nepal in this series yet, and that's the tiebreaker map. Let's see if Chivalrous can do it. And you know what? I agree with you. They can do it.
Fully
Get in their
capable.
minds how they mean to execute it. They execute it that way, and that's what we're looking for. Again, I can involve your beautiful hybrid map. Who do we got coming out from on defense first? As I think they're waiting for everyone to come in, but they're one of the reasons I like. One of the reason I like is the difference from phase 1, which is getting the point. Phase 2, with just whoever controls that high ground on the castle is king, and then phase 3 is corridors with right angles and long sight lines. So it's three. To me, it's almost 3 maps in one, but that's not how it's. With 3 different modes of attack and defense. And coming out on defense, again, top left in your blue is Chivalrous, top right in your red is Team Rage. How does the defense from Chivalrous look to you today on Eichenwald?
It looks okay. I do enjoy the May pick. I do like seeing May. I think she's a very versatile DPS choice, especially with the way that Rollock is now. That being said, I was a little surprised that they weren't willing to give Bastion a shot, given how much success they had with
Yeah,
them holding up in on the last map on Horizon Lunar Colony.
it does look to me also that the only real range they have is May Icicles. They don't have a lot of range, so I can agree with them holding literally right there at the bridge as opposed to what you usually see even farther back. We've got the Rissa Hog coming out from the side of Team Rage. Shield not going to be enough. It's somehow the damage is actually going through, and I like what they saw here. Chivalrous seeing that the shields are down, just back up, but they need to be aware that Arctic is on that Widow, so definitely use those sightlines, definitely use those corners as best you can, or you're going to get your head popped off, and it's going to be that's basically the initiation that Team Rage is going to be looking for to go forward. Now they are basically trying to back up and rotate. J-Terror is going to be taken out by Crisis. Maywall going to be trying to stop any further losses, but Aether's going to find Lama Rama as the main healer down on the side of Chivalrous, though it is 6v4 right now in favor of Team Rage as they're moving on to the point. D.Va trying to put some pressure on that Pharaoh Mercy, but it's not going to be enough, just him, because Arctic does find Zachary as well. They're up 6v3 on this fight. Reinhardt from Morphwing does go in, does get picked off again. Arctic already playing a huge role, 87% of the ult, and they're going to go ahead and just take this first point. Reaper has come back, but I don't believe he's going to be able to get much. He does get Arctic before we take him down, but it's the point is now going to be unlocked here for Team Rage.
And with so much time left in the bank as well, Rage just absolutely surged through the shields, and they took full advantage of the fact that, as you touched on, the Chivalrous had no range to deal with the Pharah, let alone a Far Mercy.
Fair Mercy is absolutely devastating, and for hit scans, you either need to be hitting your shots like a boss to be able to deal damage over the healing coming out from Mercy, or you need to pick a Widow. So we got Zachary switching off from the Mei onto the Widow, and already did get that pick onto Pharah, who then had to be rezzed up, and Terror trying to use the Reaper against the Pharah in the air, of course, and unfortunately he does take that L. But they again, the Steam Rage up right now, 6v5, and they are really spread out. Chivalrous is pretty spread out along this long corridor. Aether able to get the pick on the Zachary. Justice rating from above, double kill onto Llama and Morphwing. Kongman, not to be outdone, does find Gordo, and they are essentially moving. They haven't even stopped the payload. Let's see if they can go from start to finish, or from point 1 to point 2, because right now it's what it looks like.
Now, the fascinating thing to me here is that there is very little actual up from Chivalrous right now. This is a mistake that many teams make in lower ELOs, is not giving themselves a full chance to regroup properly before pushing onto the point to contest it.
As you say that, they did get that full regroup. The Shatter finds 2. Zachary able to get a pick before he's taken out by Arctic. So it's 5v5 until the pool does get J-Terror off, and Crisis is res. So again, Team Rage already up to full strength again. And the stall is happening. A boom! The whole hog kill onto Morphwing does knock him off. Dasher does get the double kill into the air, as being a Fair Mercy in that big open does make you a very good target for a very wide range deal of destruction. And so they were able to actually keep this defense from letting them get them point 2, and they're going to push forward, getting the Stragglers. Zachary winning that Widow duel against Arctic. Crisis does take someone down before he's taken down himself, but that's going to be Chivalrous saying, okay, guys, but we have a place we can dig our heels into. This is going to be a defensive spot. Just deal with that Fair Mercy up in the air and see what we can do.
And this could be a very good spot as well for a good Lucio. I will be interested to see if Gordo at any point switches off of Brigitte to Lucio in an attempt to get some easy boops off of the side right here. This choke is made for Lucio, and I do see a lot of switches at this point when holding here.
We have Zachary using the sights, so they know exactly where they're going from. But both Widows, Zachary able to get Arctic down. Remember, the newer thing is that when the Widow ult is being used, if Widow dies, all sight is lost. Doesn't matter though, because it doesn't look like it was evening up. It is back and forth. Aether to give it the dash on the Boomer, but it's the kills are going back and forth. It is going to be in favor. It's just the Hog Orisa. Here they do get the just barely getting Llama to get sucked off the edge, and Zachary trying to get back in position. It is, but they are regrouping, and Morphwing is back on the Reinhardt, able to hold this last encounter. Good job, Chivalrous.
And a nice little pick from Zachary to help build his ult. Those sight lines and that Widow ult is going to be very valuable here to prevent them from being surprised.
I believe both Widows on that last engagement did hit body shots, and it was Zachary who got it first, and again gets that sights back up right away, able to find Rusty Potato. They are going to be up again, so Team Rage is going to have to keep just waiting for the respawns. It's 10 seconds every time you get that kill. That's the walk time as well. Zachary trying to getting bullied by Aether, does get taken down, but this Team Rage is still waiting for the respawn. Anna is still hopping her way back. Gordo with the flail kill onto Mercy in the air.
That was absolutely fantastic placement.
The skill from above is trying to back up again. Does get a Morphwing. The Deco Bomb comes out looking for someone. Does find Arctic. Aether Herbert gets a double kill into Lava Rama. Aggressive Potato is taken down as well from Gordo. Both Annas out of the fight, but Zachary and Dash are able to get this back into the hands of the defense. It does look like Chivalrous is able to keep this into their hands and into where they're holding back. That payload has moved back so much. It was almost at the door. It was at the door, and now it's almost back underneath the overhang, and it's a great defense again coming out from Chivalrous. They found where they needed to dig their heels in.
Yeah, everybody's finding their groove, and in particular, Widowmaker Zachary is definitely hitting his stride in this map. You can tell that he's feeling a lot comfortable. He's starting to find the rhythm of Far Mercy, and he's not getting bullied nearly as often, and he's helping his team immensely keep the pressure off.
Another regroup comes out. Aether has switched on to the May, hopefully trying to deal with this the front line that is giving them some trouble. I would expect a more dive. We got Arctic getting the first gun to Gordo. Gordo does find Crisis as well, but that good whip kill. So there it's 5v5, but that's a rally that went down the drain. But that 26% alt charge back already happened because of the boot kill off the edge. Arctic also finding J Terror, who was trying to flank out and run the side. They are pushing the payload forward now, and it is it'll be up to Zachary to try and find Arctic, who is just coming around the side. Rusty Potato actually is going to help take him out. That Bongo is doing a lot of work, and Morphwing does get taken out by Iroh, who got the Discord onto the Rhino. It's going to happen. Gets the Discord onto the Diva, and it's going to be coming through. Iroh with his own double kill, actually. It is an overtime. Great May wall. Good to stop the healing that was coming out from the end of the Anna grenade from Team Rage onto Chivalrous. This is going to be a big help there. Arctic able to get Llama Rama as well. Zachary has switched off onto the Doomfist, trying to stall. Does find a pick, and I do believe that's going to be all she wrote for this point, too. They might continue trying to stall because they're already in overtime, unless they can absolutely stop this. Almost tried to do the swish, tried to shoot the bat, tried to shoot the hoop, the ball through the hoop. Didn't quite make it, not quite enough. That Diva Bomb just landed on the other side of the door. Are known for their defense, and they're still contesting. Die from J Terror is going to be hitting into a shield. Is going to be frozen. It does find one though. Zachary's finding a pick as too. They're finding picks, and the Nano Boost comes onto Zachary. Llama Ramos taken out by Arctic. Double kill from Arctic onto Zachary. The May ult going to freeze the Reinhardt, and there you go. Point 2 taken from Team Rage. Chivalrous almost did it again.
Once again, we see some fantastic defense from Team Chivalrous. What they are capable of, just shutting down Ray over and over and over. But sometimes you see these plays made, like J Terror trying to flank the back line. He got picked off, and that was a turning point. That man advantage was all Rage needed to start pushing the point to get the next team fight.
And if it did work, though, we'd be singing his praises. So I hate that double standard that happens. It'd be gigantic. Great May wall does lock off the Reaper and the Brigitte, who somehow gets on top of the payload to get over the wall. J Terror frozen. Great eat, but it's still gonna be taken out by Arctic, who's just rated. These sight lines again are just super in favor of the Widow player. There is Zachary had switched off from the Widow onto the Hanzo, trying to put more pressure onto the front line of Rage. Here comes out the Dragon Strike, and the great usage of Transcendence, keeping them alive. I believe it looked like both tanks were going to go down on Team Rage, but that Transcendence kept them alive, and Terror is just being eaten up, being frozen, being hacked, being booped, being pulled. He wasn't able to be as effective because Reaper is, in my head, just really good against an Orisa Hog, but he kept getting destroyed before he could do any value.
Yeah, the issue there was that they knew he was there. They knew that Reaper was coming at them, and they were quick enough to focus their target towards him, burst him down, and move on. And that's really the key to shutting down Reaper, is focusing him quickly so that he doesn't have a chance to run around your tanks and destroy the entire fight.
As soon as he uses his Wraith, that needs to be the number one call. Reaper, no Wraith. Reaper, no Wraith, which means if he's out of Wraith,
he's got nowhere to go.
To make sure we don't just start talking and everyone knows what's happening, they have 24 seconds left. What does that mean for Team Rage if we see on the side of Chivalrous, if they're able to get all 3 points as well? Tell us what that means when there is just that little bit of time left versus no time left.
That means Team Rage is guaranteed to have another shot at attacking. And that is a very, very important distinction here, because if the clock strikes 0 and Chivalrous, I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. If Team Chivalrous cannot take this point, the map straight up ends. They need to have time on the bank. They need to get it all the way to the end.
It does look like we're setting up another bunker comp. This time they're having, instead of what we saw on defense the first time from Chivalrous, which was the May and the Reaper, we have the May and Arctic sticking on that Widow, which was doing some work, and Zachary was doing work as well. But Zachary instead is going to be going more divey. Well, maybe going with J Terror to try and find hack targets and just delete somebody. So it's essentially like Orion Zarya moving forward with the healers, and then you got Jay Terra and Zachary probably going to be flanking because they're already there on the right, ready to go. They're saying, okay, when do we go? When do we go? There they go. They're looking for a pick. They're looking for a kill. Great uppercut, great damage. Already 56% ult for Zachary, but he has to be taken out by Crisis. Iroh's actually getting hit down really low, but Crisis double killing the Gordo. Arctic double kills himself, not to be underdone by that beautiful Roadhog. And it looks like right now Team Rage does hold strong against the first attack that came out from Chivalrous.
And as far as losing team fights go, that was actually not bad from the side of Team Chivalrous. They have Doomfist, who's built up almost 70% of his ult, and they have Reinhardt, who's likely to have his next ult coming into this next team fight.
The Shatter's going to be pretty big if you can get on the other side of the Orisa shield. Now, Kongman's going to basically, they have to know if Reinhardt was in there swinging his hammer, he's getting close to ult. And again, that uppercut from Zachary in the first engagement did hit up to 3 people. Terra is going to be taken out by Congo. And it does look like the great Discord, already with the huge ults, does get the Meteor Strike, finds Rusty Potato, but Crisis does make him pay for it. Morphwing does even it up, though, getting Aether down until Crisis takes him. Now in favor of Team Rage again, and Crisis getting really low, and Anagram Grenade is not going to be enough. Dasher actually finding the Death Lady herself, Arctic on the side, Congo Man and Crisis finding picks of their own. They might consider backing up right now until Doomfist is back. Zachary's here, so we got Doomfist, Ana, and Sombra here to try and engage against the 3 members that are there. It is 3v3 on the point, but the combos from Zachary does get Iroh, but May is back. Shatter comes down, finds 2 on the ground, but gets frozen before you think it'd be happening. He's just getting frozen. The Ana boost is being used on the Reinhardt, and Reinhardt's like, okay, well, I'll try and deal with this May, who basically just stalled the entire ult. Yep. Just because Aether was there, the Shatter wasn't able to be, they weren't able to push forward onto that. So here we got Gordo get taken out by Arctic. They are continuing to push forward and maybe build up that Zarya ult that they need, but it's a very full 5-man over here on the side of Team Rage. All the spawns are coming in. The book I couldn't tell if that punch was because Aether used the grappling hook or because she got punched by Zachary. But Christ is able to get the first kill on the Morphwing. The May ult comes out. Nobody's there because it's being used essentially to stop that. Kongoman's taking a nap because he's been doing some work. Another hold from Team Rage.
This is a case of Chivalrous being shut down frequently, and a little bit of disorganization when it comes to that Hack Fist combo. Hack Fist can be a devastating combination, and we have to see how Sombra chooses to use her EMP coming into this critical team fight with only a minute left on the clock.
An EMP and possibly a Shatter after that, so there's no shields, no nothing, because that's the closest things, but they're going to have a grab as well, and I'd like to see what I call the Space Jam, so they get a grab with that Meteor Strike, just slam dunk, EMP comes out, gets all 5, and it's double kill already on the side of Chivalrous on Team Rage, 3 down on Team Rage, 4 down on Team Rage, as Zachary gets the Meteor Strike, I'll kill onto Iroh, Jay Terra gets it looks like Chivalrous has done it this engagement, they're going to get that payload, and they're going to start moving forward, and despite the great Ana Grenade from Rusty Potato, good attack there, Chivalrous.
That was a fantastic attack. That was a very well-timed EMP. That EMP was the story of the fight. In addition to the fact that, unlike what we saw in previous maps, on the losing maps from Chivalrous, they took advantage of the EMP. They went after it.
They must have realized, hey guys, the EMP is huge, because guess what? They only used that and a Meteor Strike to get that encounter. They still got Grab, they still got Shatter, they still got another Nano Boost and Transcendence coming up soon. That Transcendence hopefully will be used to probably counter Aether, who's going to have another May ult very, very soon. Arctic is hacked right on the side of Team Rage, but they are pushing what they see. I see that Team Rage is forward. Grab comes out, gets the hog, and what be comboed with, looking for a combo. Kongman is taken down. Zachary punches out Iroh. That's 2 down. Chivalrous up 6v4 right now. 6v3 as Crisis is taken out by a Fire Strike. Dasher and Zachary finding picks of their own, and another great engagement going together for Team Chivalrous, and they're going to moving forward towards this second point, and I think they might have one more defense here for Team Rage.
I'm actually surprised at how much success Doomfist has been having at closing the distance against Widowmaker. He and Sam are doing a phenomenal job of breaking down the DPS backline. They are pressuring from the backline. It's going great.
They do get the May ult, they do get the Shatter as well. Morphwing double kill onto both the healers from Team Rage. Arctic Kongman finding picks of their own. It is just Orisa here against a Doomfist. He's going to be taking out Meteor Strike.
Ooh. And he will be trying to use
because he was really, really low. He's afraid he was going to take it, and I was like, well, just stay on the point. He's right there, because, again, if you're on attack, the payload actually does heal you, doesn't it?
And what we didn't talk about there in the midst of all that action was that a very low health Doomfist, Zachary, did manage to get under pick onto Rusty Potato while he was back here, taking all the attention off of the payload.
Great job, Zachary. Showing Doomfist is fun. Remember, Doomfist does have a lot of survivability. That's why you see him being used as a stall hero, because every time he's able to hit those abilities with the uppercut, the slam, the punch, gives himself some shields every single time. So despite him being really, really low, if he's hitting his stuff, he is going to be a lot more tankier, continuing to heal himself back up, quote unquote heal, with some extra shields. Now here we are on these sidelines where Arctic's just going to be having a field day. He's up there with Anna. He does find a pick on Zachary. Team Chivalrous is going to be figuring out how are we supposed to get around this corner without getting destroyed, because they're going to have Aether, who is switched off on the Junkrat and already at 60% of his ult around this corner, and we got the very, very far down line of sights with Anna and Widow on the far end. What does Chivalrous need to do to break through this?
This is going to be a tough task. I don't think that they seem confident in their Widow versus Widow matchup play, so it seems like they're trying to manipulate the circumstances and get a little creative. But this is going to depend, again, very heavily on Sombra's ult. That has been the most consistent form of solid payload pushing offense from them, is coming off of that EMP. And Sombra has it again.
Hacked up, so basically they know exactly where they are. There's no point in trying to flank. The Widow knows exactly where they are. Grab comes out, finds two. Transcendence being used. The Anna grenade from the Team Rage. Charge does dislodge. Yeah, the EMP comes out, does find two. Conga Man and Crisis is both tanks down. So the Aether does get the tire kill. Arctic finding a pick of his own, despite the ults being used with the EMP and the Transcendence. And on the other side from Team Rage is able to hold this down. Just under a minute left for Chivalrous to get to the end.
Aztec getting multiple picks, doing a lot of damage once again. I would be very interested to see his damage numbers at the end of this game. I feel like he has been having a standout match.
Zachary being a little bit too far forward. He was trying to build his ult because he switched off from the Doomfist onto that Hanzo. Hanzo can build up his ult very, very quickly, but because of that overextension getting picked off by the Widow in conjunction with the Junkrat, there's only one team fight left. And it's going to go to overtime. And we were talking about the time bank difference in over there on Team Rage. Already have 24 seconds left. But we need to see Chivalrous get all the way to the end here first to make that happen. We have the whole hog and the bongos and the nano boost. Arctic getting the pick onto Zachary. Shatter comes down, does find three on the ground, and the nano boost as well. Dasher finds Iroh. The hammer is needing to be swinging as hard as it can, getting pushed back by the whole hog. It is an overtime right now. They need to keep somebody on the payload at all times. Overtime will be going down even faster and faster and faster. Arctic's just raining death from above. Aether and them are able to find picks of their own. Morphwing able to win the tank battle until he's put to sleep and then taken out by the hog. And Iroh comes back. It's a double pick of his own. Fire in the hole, right on top of the point. It is just Lamarama who's going to be taken out. J-Terra was coming to the point. Wasn't enough. Chivalrous, unfortunately, was not able to deal through the defense that Team Rage was doing. Team Rage takes map 3.
That was a very interesting matchup. I particularly loved the hold from Chivalrous near the doors, near the point before, or the second to last point. Once again, the story of the games were the EMPs from J-Terra. Much of the success that Chivalrous did have came from J-Terra's EMPs. He did a great job as Sombra.
Especially that 6-man EMP we just saw in play of the game. It was absolutely beautiful. I believe Chivalrous was... They capitalized on that 6-man EMP to get into that first point, unlock the payload, and then what I call Streets Phase or Phase 2, essentially trying to get to the doors, was very smooth from Chivalrous on attack. They were moving forward. I'm like, oh yeah, they got this. They got this. They're going to get all the way to point 3. But Rage were able to get the stall a little bit more before they got to the doors, and then they didn't really let them get around that last corner, because I can tell you, Arctic was just the entire time. And again, those sight lines on phase 3 just made it so easy for, even if you're not hitting headshots, you're just doing damage and you're they can't even get to me. But
there was
Chivalrous,
there was so much damage being done by Team Rage's DPS. The DPS duo that they have on Team Rage did phenomenal tonight. They had excellent aiming. You saw that their coordination was a little stronger than what Chivalrous had tonight. Again, I believe that Chivalrous has the full capability of being a phenomenal team, of being a top contender in this league. But at the moment, they do need to work just tightening up their coordination, getting to know each
Yeah,
other better, and being able to trust each other. You could tell
absolutely.
that there were a few situations in team fights where they were worried about whether or not they were in a secure position, whether the tanks had their back, whether support had their back, whether supports were being protected. There was just not a ton of trust there. But I see a team of a lot of individually good players
Oh
that
yeah.
can work really well together. And sometimes they look amazing. Sometimes they look just so good.
They're evolving just in this fight because again, the first map they had a really good like their defense when they have a place that they have to defend and it's not moving. And I think over the course of 3 maps, we're seeing them get that team play just a little bit better, just a little bit better, a little bit better. They play. We're talking about it in chat. Do they play all 4 maps? I'm pretty sure they do because every map counts.
I'm not 100% certain, actually. I know in the Overwatch,
I
but
think I think we still play map 4 because again we kind of
okay,
go with the Overwatch build of how a tournament runs, and they do. Getting confirmation they do play all 4, so we will be seeing
okay,
Gibraltar.
perfect.
I like Gibraltar, and it's going to be that payload map or escort. I call it a payload. Where do I get the word payload from? What is that? Counter Strike?
Um, well, there is a stat that Overwatch tracks, that Blizzard tracks, that's called abandoned payloads. So, and
You know what?
abandoned
It's
objectives.
payload.
They have an internal stat that they track abandoned objectives and abandoned payloads specifically.
And I'd
So,
actually like to see some of the stats. I mean, Overwatch tracks a lot of stats, and I'd like to
yes.
see something besides damage, medals.
Yeah, I would love to see some of the more
That to me,
interesting, maybe
I want to
objective
see
based.
I want to see like an overall thing. It's like, hey, well, I got silver. I got all golds, man. What are you guys doing? You have all golds because you're being an idiot and you're throwing yourself into there and you're a Junkrat. So when you die, your death actually does damage. That's why you're getting so much damage.
Yeah, the classic dive. I dive bomb every team fight, and I have the most damage. Well,
I bet you
yeah,
have the most deaths. Yeah,
you're,
thanks, man.
you're the only one jumping in. You would have all the
Metal
damage.
and deaths too. Good job, man. Clap. So bad. But we are going to be playing map number 4, and they're going to get ready for that. Gibraltar, of course, escort payload, especially for
Gibraltar.
points 1 and 2. Very high ground control heavy. Would you agree with that?
100% agree. This is a map that is very often dominated by the better Hanzo, the better Widow, the better sniper, the better guy who can pick up, who can get that initial pick on those team fights, because there's a lot of sight lines here. There's a lot of long sight
Yeah.
lines, and this is definitely favoring aim and reflexes. This is a map that favors individual skill very highly.
I'm expecting to see Arctic sticking on that Widow and Zachary. If you're Zachary, but was showing a lot of great promise on Doomfist. Do you think Doomfist is a viable pick here going against a Widow with all these sightlines?
I say yes because I use Doomfist so frequently, but so I'm a little biased because I love the
Not biased. You
mobility
have
that he has.
experience, and that's what I want to know. Because I don't play Doomfist. Doomfist is
I
not my jam.
I think that he's viable. Again, this is going to come down very heavily to individual skill. So far, the story of the game has been Aztec looking phenomenal on Widow and getting a lot of, or Arctic getting a lot of those initial picks with Widow. He does look like a very dominant sniper tonight. But Zachary, like you said, did wonderful on Doomfist, and every single fight or every single map that they've played, they've looked better on.
Yeah, I say it again. They seem to be improving, and it could be because they need to get some more practice against other solid teams like Team Rage, so they can grow. Because they leveled up at least twice over the course of this campaign.
Ready for battle.
I mean, I don't know if you want to use RPG elements or something like that, but that's what I think. I think that has a very good defensive stat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say charisma and team building. It's slowly building up and getting up to where the defense is. But actually, when it comes back to both teams, defense, in your opinion, because Team Rage was able to hold off Chivalrous several times.
Team Rage is looking like this is going to be interesting. This is why I believe this matchup is so interesting, is because I feel like Team Rage is the better coordinated team right now, but that Chivalrous may have the higher skilled players, the individual players. I've seen some amazing solo plays, but it's not enough to win a team fight against a coordinated team. Maybe in a solo queue. But not
You
here.
got the positioned up on the high ground. They're going to go with the Diva from Dasher to be basically contesting the high ground, but he's going to be up against both Conga Man and Crisis, who are on the Diva and the Winston. Winston already be taken out by Llama Rama. Great pick already, but they are going to keep pushing the payload, so they're either going to decide to just let them have the payload as Chivalrous is just finding the heads of Aether, Iroh, and Crisis, who's out on a mech. And look, Rusty Potato also being Zachary is able to get that pick. So the double sniper hold right now from Chivalrous so far looking great.
Yeah, they have had a lot of success with double sniper. I did speak to the coaches prior, and it is a comp that they're comfortable with. They do like double sniper. And again, we talked about this is a map to do it. If you can snipe, this is the map to snipe.
Now I do see something that I hope Zachary can hear this, who is going to be taken out by Crisis, and Aether finds that dash kill onto Gordo. I was noticing Zachary was trying to get some picks just to the outside of his Arissa's shield. It's not the reason he died, but that's how you get picked off, and that's how you open it up. So I'd say use the shield that's there, wait for them to come around the corner. It's fine, but it's going to be Team Rage that's going to start rolling over this defense, and I don't know if Chivalrous is going to be able to defend before they get to point one.
This looks like they might be able to get a couple extra half seconds, but this is definitely going point one in favor of Team Rage right now.
Or point A, however you want to say it, Overwatch. Don't get mad at me. A sleeping Arctic, who again is not on the Widow, is on the Sombra, but EMP is ready there. We got Primal Rage being used basically to bat around Dasher, who is in the Diva mech. It's still in the mech, actually, so not super effective there, but his Crisis is going to be taken out of that mech as well. They're deciding to hold back here towards that last corner. Morph being able to get the kill onto Kong Man. It does look the dragons come out, not necessarily always used to get kills, but definitely push back pushes that are happening. Zachary getting a double kill, Arctic being taken down by Morphwing. Another place of defensive superiority coming out here from Chivalrous.
And you could argue that Hanzo's ult, although it didn't get a pick, did do its job. Used as a zoning ult, it actually did a very good job in clearing the point and just fracturing Team Rage enough to close out the team fight.
See them using the sight lines. They do realize they have to be having somebody using the ult tracking. They have to know Arctic is close to an EMP. So you see what Team Rage is doing. They're basically just waiting a while. They're waiting for J Terror's Infocytes to go away. So they don't want them to know exactly where everyone is. Got the Nano Blade coming out, looking for a pick. Finds one onto Zachary. Diva Bomb as well. Double kill from Aether. Does look like Dasher does finish him off with that Diva Bomb, however, but it's Team Rage right now, up 2 members until Dasher's res from Gordo. Needs to get back into mech if he can. Does get back into mech. It's always a scary thought when you res a mini Diva and he's not able to get back into his mech. Cogman does dash forward, trying to put some pressure onto Gordo, who's getting really low. Almost get taken down. Nerf this does look like it finds Zachary, who was unable to get behind a corner. Iroh finds 2 picks on Morphwing and Gordo. All the while they're pushing the payload forward. They are up and winning this team fight so far for Team Rage. Does look like point B is going to be right there in their grasp.
And Morphwing held out by himself on the point for quite a while, actually fighting, I believe it was Rusty Potato, the Anna. But unfortunately, he was just too worn down from the rest of the fight. The interesting thing is that the other teammates weren't on the payload. I would have liked to have seen a little more contesting with your Orisa on the payload.
Orisa needs somebody to back him up.
Yeah. If you're Team Chivalrous, you want your Orisa to be staying alive. You need your tanks up to contest.
And great job. We got EMP coming out, does find 4, looking for some picks afterwards, does find Llama Rama. Zachary and Gordo gonna be taken down as well. 6v3 in favor of Team Rage. Nerf this comes out trying to contest the payload, not gonna find anyone. but Congo Man with that double kill does kind of continue to open it up. But I like the D.Va there. We got Dasher on point, continuing to contest. The spawn advantage is for the defensive, so great stalling come out of here from Dasher to allow this team essentially to get one more good team fight. You do see them waiting in the wings right there. They are waiting to come right back up and contest. Angry Monkey going to be used in the door. They're going to keep bashing him back, but it does look like the 4-5 from Morphwing does get anti-grenaded, but does kind of just walk past Cogman. So great ult usage from the Angry Monkey.
Yeah, I actually saw a few things that I liked from both sides, but Team Rage, once again, as the story of the rest of the game has typically been, they've been looking like the more coordinated team. When they get an early pick, they more frequently they take advantage of it. That's not to say that Chivalrous hasn't been getting picks in team fights, but they haven't been dominating those fights.
Are doing. I also like the self-restraint that Arctic had 2 team fights ago, waiting to use that EMP as the last engagement, because he did have it as they were engaging in phase 2 on streets phase, or as the plane phase or point B phase, however you want to talk about it. They were able to continuously move forward. It wasn't that they were always of the team fight every time, but they were on top of the objective. The payload didn't stop moving if there was a fight moving on. The contention only came from Morphwing for that little bit that you were talking about, but they just kept, they were paying of the match versus what I think Chivalrous was doing was finding their own little, which may or may not have been on the payload, and then Team Rage washed right over them.
And this is something that Team Rage has done a few times earlier on not only other rounds, but other maps entirely. They've replicated a similar game plan time and time again. Get an early pick on somebody in the back line and then just bowl over them. Bowl over the rest of the surviving members. And it's been working.
Living up to the
name. They've been playing in quite a rage.
Super angry. Arctic, of course, going to be here on the Widow on defense. All those sightlines, just every single phase of this map, snipers. And Arctic has been shining so far. Kongbang being hacked right now, but Rusty Potato and Aether getting taken down really low. Llama Rama going to push the payload very slowly. Now Zachary does find a pick, a very valuable pick on the Team Rage is Rusty Potato, but Arctic does take him down. So it's 5v5 until Arctic does take down Morphwing. But just like as Team Rage was doing on their attack, they just keep pushing the payload. I do like seeing the Team Rage drop down to try and stop the progression of the payload. Llama Rama going to be taken out, as well as Dasher trying to get his ult charge to be a mech, but that's the hold from this engagement here on Team Rage.
And they had excellent timing on the drop. They held the high position for just long enough to get 3 or 4 picks, and then they went down and dropped and cleaned up the people who were trying to sneak the payload. Phenomenal timing. Good comms, good coordination.
Absolutely. And I think Chivalrous has the advantage here based on where they thought, or I saw Team Rage thinking of holding, because they were thinking of holding underneath the overpass, which is not where you want to be, because then you just give up the high ground for free. Zachary trying to put pressure onto the side of Arctic. Gordo's going to be taken out by Crisis from the hook kill. But Zachary is trying to zone this, Arctic, which is a very good game plan. But they are right now down. J-Terror able to get the pick, so great conjunction there to find the kill, find basically what their win condition is and what they feel like, which is that kill onto Arctic. They have a dive in from the D.Va and the Winston. Winston's gonna be frozen. Zachary does find the rest of Potato, but Crisis does take down Morphwing. It is still right now in favor of Chivalrous. The May ult is being used just in the corner, not really finding anybody, but basically being used as a zoning ult. You can use that. Dragon, you can use the May ult, you can use the mine. Very good for zoning out parts of the map, but it's not going to catch anybody, and it's not going to stop this progression of the payload. Slowly getting to point A. Hog's going to try and contest. The boop does make sure he does not get it. So point A going over to Chivalrous.
And the very interesting thing about this next fight is how many ults are capable of being brought out. Once again, we have the very pivotal EMP from J-Terror, the Sombra. And we all have 5 ults on the side of Team Rage. Everything except May's Blizzard.
You know what? I don't think they need anything, because right now these hook are these pull hook combos coming out from Kongman and Crisis, is finding picks over and over and over again. He got Gordo before the fight even happened. Then he just got Zachary, who does have Blade. We do have the Nano out. They're going to have all 6 here in a second on the side of Chivalrous, and they have basically control of the high ground because Team Rage can't really get up there. They have Arctic who could grapple up there, but what is a Widow going to do against the rest of his team? Nano Blade comes out, Transcendence with an EMP. EMP not able to get the Transcendence beforehand. We got a double kill from Zachary. Russ Potato gets he does get J-Terror, but it was just a second faster. That Transcendence was able to hold back a lot of the damage that happened, but it wasn't enough. It does look like with those beautiful ults, again, they used 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's fine because it does look like you're going to be getting point B here on Gibraltar.
And this is an entirely new team, Chivalrous. This is an entirely new team we're seeing right here. This is a team that's working together, that is holding each other's back, that is falling back to their teammates with the assumption that they're going to have your back covered. This is very good team play from them on offense so far on Gibraltar.
Completely agree there. With the team again is evolving. I love to see if they can pick up this map here on Gibraltar. The series, of course, has already gone to Team Rage, but seeing how well that Chivalrous is playing, they could be doing something. Gordo trying to get out of there is not going to be able to get out of there as Arctic just pick him off. He's trying to do a boop, trying to get away from that May wall. He's trying to wall off, but it does look like Team Rage is trying to push forward with that 1 pick. 2 picks as Arrows does find Zachary. So it looks like another hold here on this last last motion through to point C from the side of Team Rage. Is that Arctic just finding picks one after triple kill.
Great.
Sir, take a breath. We get it. You can hit heads.
That was an amazing show from Arctic. He is having a standout performance as Widow through every map. He made an impact with Widow. Or actually, on the last map, he was Sombra, no?
Great pick from J-Terror. Again, I think they understood what this wing position was when they were attacking point A. Deal with Arctic. You have a stronger line that you can push together because you are playing as a team. And another pull hook kill by Gordo again. When the monkey is in the background, but it's not going to be enough. It is taken down. So another hold from Team Rage. And I got to say, and then you can push forward. But then if they push forward, they're running into a May. What else can they do?
This is a case of likely the fact that they haven't been playing against a lot of May in a long time. Once again, Team Chivalrous was having a high pressure in the build up to this game, and they haven't had a lot of time to play 2-2-2 roll call.
Nerf this being used, might have been a fat figure, might have been able to try and get his ult back, but another pull hook combo, getting that first pick. We got the Genji moving in forward, Transcendence being used, basically counteract that, trying to get damage and maybe be able to finish off the Widow, who is hacked. It does get the unhacked and does come up forward. Monkey's trying to get up there to put some pressure on her. Dasher's hitting on her back. Zachary's taken out by Crisis, and the monkey does finally get in there, trying to put some pressure on Arctic, but Arctic says, "Get away from me, you angry monkey." Iroh does fall down to J-Terror, but Team Rage is not letting this Chivalrous team push forward.
No, they're not letting them have an inch. They're actually fighting like dogs for every single inch. Both teams are, but the coordination and the fact that they've really dug their heels in, that Team Rage has dug their heels in here, it's going to be tough to break now for Team Chivalrous.
The sights come out from Arctic. They see what's happening. They probably see the different heroes. Gordo and Zachary have switched off, as well as Morphing and Dasher going to trying to match the pull hook combo, because I think every single engagement so far, Kongman and Crisis have been able to get some type of kill. There's another one, pulls him in. Dasher going down, unfortunately, but they're already down one member. Zachary going up in the air, trying to find the pick onto Arctic, is not going to be able to find it. They're down one. They got to wait that extra 10 seconds, and the walk back time. Chivalrous needs to find. If they can get that pick first, they're going to be great. But they're dealing with such a great lineup here from Team Rage.
And I feel like the switch to Widow from Zachary is probably the right move here. He hasn't shown a ton of consistency in being able to consistently outpick Arctic, but
EMP 6-man EMP. Arctic does get Zachary before it happens, but because of that EMP, they're going to be able to get around this corner, which they really needed to do. Arctic is really low. Crisis taking out Gordo. Iroh falls to the grenade from Lamarama. Congo able to get the kill out of Dasher. The EMP was essentially what they needed to push up. And, they got to the high ground, but the bongos, the reposition, what they were able to do for Team Rage on defense, they were able to back up, find out that, hey, we need We need to regroup, and they did, and they were able to hold it again.
That was a excellent show of patience from Team Chivalrous. They were very calm during that fight. Even while they were EMP'd, they were still covering each other. They were still staying close. They didn't make that mistake of falling apart like so many teams do when they get full EMP'd like that. It is
We
scary.
got a hacked Iroh who's trying to be taken out because they realize he probably has the Transcendence. Mail being used. They need somebody to step on the payload. Step on the payload. It's not going to be enough. Great effort from Chivalrous on this last map, but Team Rage is going to take Gibraltar.
And once again, the final play was a zoning ult, an ult that didn't necessarily get thrown out to get a lot of picks or to win a team fight. Just keep people away. That's all you need sometimes. And it worked
Absolutely.
out very well for Team Rage. The whole night did, actually.
Some insight on this beautiful attack that happened. Despite the Transcendence, it was that beautiful Ana grenade from the Llama, which allowed those kills to happen and come pull through. Great team play from both teams. I can't say it enough. Chivalrous has continued to improve over the course of these maps going against Team Rage, but Team Rage is going to be the one that comes out on top, taking all 4 maps. We're not going to see Nepal this time, but I'm looking forward to maybe seeing it next time. Any last thoughts here on Gibraltar?
I like the way that Chivalrous were playing. They, like you said, they do keep getting better. And as the team matures and they get to know each other more, and they get into the classic 6-stack, and they get to run over people in competitive and climb the ladder and gain some SR and have some fun, and they learn a lot about each other. I suspect that every time we see them, they're going to continue to look better and better, and they might be down on themselves for tonight's performance, but they shouldn't be. They absolutely should not be. They should be very proud of how they played, having a very tough lead up to this game. They were this close to taking round after round. It was a matter of inches.
Now, for me, I love doing this at the end of this game. I'm going to let you go first, T Guzzy. T Guzzy, on either team, put out to you that was exceptionally well or just stood out for any reason, who is that person or persons?
For me, I would have to say that it was Arctic, and I was actually quite impressed with Gordo throughout the game. He didn't have quite the same explosive performance as he did on the very first
over
and
there
second
on
one.
Helios. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Explosive.
He didn't quite have the explosiveness followed up after that. I mean, because it came out of the gates on fire, and then he played a little bit more of a low-key game throughout. But he was very consistent. He was a very good player. He was doing his job, and he was contributing quite a lot. Who did?
I agree, and I'm going to shout out somebody from each team as well. I'm going to go over to the side of Zachary for Chivalrous, able to very versatile, definitely upplayed the Doomfist, able to dislodge Team Rage, especially in Eichenwald, putting a lot of fight, and was able to go toe-to-toe with Arctic most of the time. So that's who I believe kind of stood out. Great DPS on the side of Chivalrous. On Team Rage, I'm going to give it to a pair. I'm going to give it to Kongman and the Crisis, because I just kept seeing all these picks being opened up with the pull, the halt, and the hook, and they opened up the team fight. They let Team Rage know, hey guys, we're already up 1. Let's just keep winning, and doing a great job. So great team play from both sides.
Yeah.
Those who I think are on either side, and I think today, guys, this has been Overwatch Valkyrie Activities Association in conjunction with the Right Media Group. We just got to see Chivalrous go head-to-head against Team Rage. Team Rage is going to take all 4 maps despite great defense and great evolution of gameplay from Chivalrous. I have been Spiftastic Me, your play-by-play caster. With me over here is T Guzzy, our beautiful analyst and color caster. And of course, the one who's kind of showing you everything that's going on is Kez. Kez, man, thanks for being a producer. I think that's going to do us for here at the beautiful studios of my studio and the house of T Guzzy. Guys, have a spiftastic rest of your day. We looking forward to seeing you here next time for another great day of some Overwatch.
Have a great night, everybody.